Previously on
BRINK is set on the arc. The whole place is on the brink of a civil war. Something's got to give. So we're a first-person shooter, making a multiplayer game that has a strong story narrative. You can play it by yourself. It's 8-player co-op. You can go online and get the full experience. I'd say we are destroying.
Yeah.
Well, or we're trying to. But yeah, that's a really, really big goal for us, because well, we know that multiplayer gaming is the best. I mean, as a company, we believe it. Obviously, it's what our background is. But I mean, I tend to look at it as, it's human nature. We are social animals. It's how we evolved as a species, is by interacting with people. Even the most geeky, introverted, shy gamer, at the end of the day, is still, his life is improved if he has somebody in his life to share experiences with. I mean, that's hardwired into us. But, and it's interesting, for the longest time, for centuries now, games have been inherently a social exercise. That, chess, the Olympics, everything, it's all about getting out and connecting with people. And the creation of video games has completely destroyed centuries of human evolution. Because now you can play your games in a dark little cave and just shut out the rest of the world. And, obviously it's made for some fantastic games, hiding off in a dark little cave, as we all have done. But something's lost for a lot of players. I'm one of them. I love every Call of Duty that's ever come out. I play them religiously all the way through. I finish the storyline and then I put them on the shelf. Because I've always just been in a situation where, I'm not going to go online. They're dicks. They're assholes. They make me feel bad about myself because I haven't played the game obsessively for 1,000 hours and therefore don't necessarily know all the, all those problems. So it's very, very easy for players to just kind of get scared away and therefore miss all these great opportunities that I know I've been missing because I've been playing online. So the reason we're blurring these lines is so that, I've said before, I kind of think our game is almost like a gateway drug. You get pulled into the game because we've got a really interesting environment, we've got beautiful art, we've got good reviews, hopefully, but we've got a really interesting storyline, and so you'll play it offline, you'll play it by yourself, just how you're used to playing, and you'll be having a great time, because what'll be interesting is, it'll feel very, very different than other shooters you played. Normally, in a shooter, you are the center of the universe. Nothing will happen unless you take 5 steps forward, cross that invisible line, and make the explosion happen. And then, once the bad guys come out, they'll all wait over there and just pop their heads up every once in a while so you can shoot them in the head. And maybe in a blue moon, they'll come around and flank you, but from the same direction every time. And that's the reality. And it makes for a really great scripted, emotional sequence, but it's the same every time you play. Compare that to online, where it's just a chaotic maelstrom of dynamic, exciting action. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, anything can come from any direction at any given time, and it's just so much more alive. We're bringing that notion, that kind of dynamic, alive gameplay into single player. So as you're going through the storyline, you'll find that, wow, I've really got to be on my toes in a way I've not really experienced before. I'm not the center of the universe. I have to work with these other guys because they're just as important as me. And so you'll be playing, and you'll be thinking, wow, this is a really fresh way to play the game, even though multiplayer gamers play like this all the time. And eventually you're going to get to a point where you've kind of gotten good at the game. You understand the systems. You know how to use it smartly choose which objective you want to take to help your team, and you know how to get there, and you know how to fight. And so we will actually be watching you as you kind of evolve as a player, as you become a little bit more multiplayer centric. And eventually there'll come a point where we actually stop the game and say, hey, the next mission, yeah, we know you're going to go play it offline, but why don't you try it online? Just try. I mean, no harm if it doesn't work out, that's fine. You'll still keep the experience you've earned, but just give it a go. Just push the button, just push it. Whisper in their ear, the little red devil. And then to push them over the edge, we'll actually bribe them to do it. We'll pay them twice as much experience to do that than they would normally earn. And my hope is, they'll trust us, they'll cross their fingers, and hope for the best, and they'll jump in, and they'll be shocked to find that it actually works, that they are actually playing online, that they've kind of gotten used to it, and they can compete, and they can feel good about themselves, and they can contribute. Because once they've had it, I don't think they'll want to let it go. And we will have converted, we will have made another online zombie. Yay for us. Yeah. Well, it's really kind of odd, because we're a first-person shooter. It's first person. You can't see yourself. You can't see your pretty face.
Plenty of mirrors around.
Yeah, well, mirrors are technically challenging, let's just say. But so it's really kind of an odd thing, and it's why you've never seen much character customization in a first-person shooter before, rightly so. But because, again, it all comes back to actually trying to make a game that Bronze Horizon gets more people involved. The human urge to create is very, very powerful. And to me, it's a shame not to do it. I mean, hell, even in a game like this where you don't necessarily see yourself in the action, it's a shame not to actually let you have a little bit of that kind of creative outlet to, choose a top and a bottom and a hairstyle and colors and textures and patterns and badges and patches and scars and tattoos and all that. I mean, you just want to. Now, so you will be able to do all that stuff at very, very high fidelity. I mean, actually, years ago, I worked on the first Sims that came out for PlayStation 2 and Xbox. And I would say we probably have kind of roughly the same amount of customizability as what we were achieving there. So I'm really proud of it. But it is a shame that you don't get to see yourself. So anytime you are not in a match, whether you're on the title screen, whether you're on the loading screen, the pause screen, the credits, whatever, you will see your character. Big as life, full of animation. You'll be able to spin him, you'll be able to play with him. So you can always still kind of get that connection to him too. Because it is all about creating a connection with him. So you take, that's my guy, that's who I'm taking into the world. All right, well, we got 4 classes. Soldier, medic, operative, and engineer. And as you said, at any given time in a match, you can swap out and change. And because hopefully you will find that you actually want to do that, because the dynamic battlefield is always changing. All of a sudden, everything's going fine. Oh crap, we need a soldier. We need a soldier to blow this thing up. If somebody blows this up, it creates a shortcut that gets us an opportunity to flank around and get the guy. Somebody turn into a soldier. Even though, well, nobody would want to be a soldier at that particular point because they're having too much time being an operative and interrogating people. Which is fine. So there's these 4 classes. You're encouraged to change, and every single. But here's the most interesting thing about classes. Obviously, class-based gameplay has been around for a while. I mean, everybody's familiar with Battlefield and Team Fortress and the enemy territory games. People are really familiar with it. Here's probably, to me, the most important thing we're bringing that's new to classes. 2 things, actually. First one, traditionally in a class-based game, there's one player who actually interacts with his team, the medic. That's it. He's the only one who gives a damn about anybody on his team. Everybody else is a lone wolf just running off doing whatever, and that's kind of the way the game is supposed to be, and that's a real shame. In a game that you can be social and you can work with people, to have no reason to do it. So we're trying to find ways for the other classes that traditionally had no particular reason to interact with everybody, to interact. I mean, so probably the most interesting example is the engineer. Everybody knows what an engineer is. He builds turrets, he builds down landmines, he repairs stuff, he builds stuff, he upgrades stuff. So a new ability he has right out of the gate, if you are an engineer on our team, instead of interacting with the machine gun nest to build it, you can interact with me, your teammate, and upgrade my gun. For the remainder of the match until I die, I will now have a gun that does a lot more damage. And we're always looking for ways so everybody, all classes have reasons to interact with each other. Actually, there's one exception to that. That's the operative, who is the lone wolf, off by himself guy. He has ways to reach out and touch the enemy. I mean, if you saw the demo, he's got the iPhone turns into a taser. Not really an iPhone. Please don't come after us, Steve Jobs. That was just kind of a little fun gag. But he has ways to actually very closely, directly interact with the enemy. The other thing that I'm actually really, really fond of too, it's kind of actually the opposite. So we're actually kind of giving this kind of medic social gameplay to everybody else. The other thing about a medic, traditionally in all these games, can you tell I like playing a medic? The other thing about a medic is they never get to be the hero. They're always the ones who are supporting, kind of in the background. Yeah, way to go, I kept you alive. But nobody really cares because that was the hero over there. They never get to be the hero. They will get to now. There are core objectives in some of our maps that are about keeping NPCs alive, which is actually an interesting thing too, a multiplayer game with NPCs on the battlefield. So there's a lot more stuff going on with the classes than what you'd normally expect. And then on top of that, obviously we're a game with a lot of experience points, a lot of leveling up. Every class has a huge amount of special abilities that only they can use. You will never be able to level up high enough to be able to get them all, so you kind of have to pick and choose if you want to be a really great soldier or say, screw it, I'm never going to be a soldier, I'm going to spread it all out. And on top of that, you've got a bunch of abilities that aren't class specific, that you can focus on them instead. No matter what you're doing, you can have these particular abilities. So there's a lot going on with classes. If you're familiar with the enemy territory, gameplay with respawns that come every Let's see. I think right now we have them set for 20 seconds, but we've been experimenting with them, like the best, But there's spawn waves that come in. When you are incapacitated, you don't die. You instead are incapacitated. You're waiting for one of those respawn waves to come out, or for a medic to come along and help you. And it's really kind of a tactical choice you have to make. Should I wait? Is a medic going to come, or should I say screw it? I'm just going to jump in with the next wave. Interesting thing is, we've added more stuff. There is more gameplay in our death mechanics than you've seen, because in addition to just having that one simple choice of, well, should I go on ahead and tap out or should I wait? There are new abilities you can buy that give you other things you can do, and we're not actually talking about them right now, but you can imagine just lying there on the battlefield, oh, I look like I'm a helpless fellow, and somebody comes in for, like, say, one of those operatives looking to actually do some interrogation. You might have a few tricks up your sleeve as well. So there's actually a lot of fun stuff we're doing with that also. Kind of, sort of. But I'm not actually talking about particular stuff today. I did think that was very, very cool in Army of Two, though.